The Iranians are going to polls to replace Hassan Rouhani after 8 years. There are several presidential candidates, but many believe that the odds are stacked in the favor of one man. Many Iranians are even questioning the idea of going to vote. So why do Iranians believe the election is a done deal? And who will be the next president of the Islamic Republic of Iran?
592 hopefuls, 7 chosen presidential candidates, 5 hardliners, and 2 reformists. But all the odds are stacked in the favor of this one man. Ebrahim Raisi is the one leading the race. He is Iran's current Chief Justice, a hardliner who enjoys massive backing. He has been one of Iran's top prosecutors, a custodian of one of its most charitable trusts, and most importantly, a close ally of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The race has now boiled down to 2 people. There is the Supreme Leader's favorite, Ebrahim Raisi, and a reformist, former central bank governor, Abdel Nasser Hemati. Currently, Iranians have a choice between 4 leaders, after 3 dropped out just ahead of the vote. But for the country's population, this is a lackluster race. To understand how Iran's politics works, it is crucial to look at its history. In the Islamic Republic of Iran, power is pyramidal. The supreme leader is the ultimate authority. Since 1989, it has been Ayatollah Khamenei. He looks over the country's foreign policy. He controls Iran's military and its judiciary. And there is no limit on his power in Iran. So the elected president comes in second, mostly looking over the country's economy. Raisi's win would be a break from the reform agenda, one that has been pushed by President Rouhani since 2013, but it is unlikely to affect the crucial nuclear talks.
I think there's an interest in not securing the return to the nuclear deal before their election season is complete. And I think there's a lot of domestic politics that go into this and an interest from hardliners, including the Supreme Leader, to ensure that their favored candidate wins without any significant disruptions to that process.
Raisi's bid is unlikely to slow the revival of the JCPOA. Khamenei, not the president, has the last say on Iran's nuclear deal. With the economic misery palpable at home, Iran's rulers cannot risk starting the talks from scratch. Currently, Iran is negotiating with 6 major superpowers to revive the nuclear deal abandoned in 2018. If and when a deal is reinstated, Iran expects to be freed from most US sanctions. But the Supreme Leader wants it to be a win for his own hardliner candidate. The idea Khamenei will delay the deal may sound odd, especially at the cost of his own country's economy. But for Khamenei, rescuing the economy must be balanced with the necessity of preserving his own power. For the hardliners, economy remains their Achilles heel. From core supporters to the working class, everyone is feeling the galloping inflation. Prices of basic goods like bread and rice are rising daily. Anger is growing over the rise in poverty, and Iran's clerics fear a revival of street protests. While candidates have promised to create jobs, none of them have issued detailed plans.
I imagined this to be a metropolis with the chance to grow and find a job and have a future. I thought I'll gather some money, become successful and either return home or stay here. But it did not turn out the way I wanted it. Suddenly everything changed, not just for me but for everyone.
But for Tehran, a bigger question is, how many Iranians will turn up to vote? Last year's parliamentary elections had the lowest voter turnout since 1979. This year, public disillusionment is at an all-time low. And no one knows that better than Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Yes, their complaints are valid. These complaints should have been addressed, and the future administration must absolutely put addressing these issues at the top of their agenda. But the point of discussion is that refusing to go to the voting booths and turning your back on the election will not solve the problem.
Khamenei's hope for legitimacy could be eclipsed by the low voter turnout. While leaders are calling on Iranians to trust the system, for Iranians, the big question now is to vote or not to vote. West Asia Bureau, WION World is One.